Hello, I'm Roger Bisbee from Skill Builder, and we're getting down to where we're going to start screeding the floor. We've got the underfloor heating pipe laid in here, all stapled down. What we've got to help us is ARDEX A29. Instead of using ordinary cement, we're using this special cement, which is a screeding cement. It means that you can mix the screed to 1:7. Now this screed is called ARDEX A29, which sounds like a trunk road in Kent, but you mix it with your normal sharp sand. But it's a cement on steroids, so you only need a mix of 1:7. Yeah, that's right, I found that difficult to believe, and I had to resist the temptation to chuck in a little bit more every so often. Well, actually jaded. And in order to get the even dispersal of the cement through the sand, you really need a forced action mixer. Don't try doing it with a traditional mixer horizontal thing, because it balls up in the back. You just will not achieve anything like a uniform mix. Actually, you really need this kind of mixer for any screed, because a conventional mixer just doesn't do the job. We've all been there. Now, of course, you can get in a screed pump. But for me, they're big noisy affairs, and I really don't like it when that hose jumps and bangs around all over the Celotex and the underfloor heating, and it can make a real mess of everything, tear the polythene. So we hired this Baron M200 mixer, and we barreled it in the old-fashioned way, nice and relaxed. Jay mixing it just about as fast as I could use it. Now, the screed is rapid set, but don't let that worry you unduly, because you still have a good hour to get the screed from the mixer to the floor, and we were doing it in fairly hot weather. And I have to tell you that I am no screeder. I'm actually a plumber, but I don't trust screeders over my underfloor heating. And by setting up a couple of rails, a scaffold tubes and edge guides, I use a timber batten around the edge, I can get a flat screed. Certainly flatter than some of the many bash crash cowboys that I've used in the past, who just come in, ignore my datum lines and trowel the whole thing through, the result being that it might be 20 millimetres higher one end than it is the other. Now, I ran down one bay with the Ruffina screed rule, and after lunch, how civilised, I primed up the half-day joint with this lovely green slurry, which is ARDEX A18. Which you just kind of paste on there, and that gives you a bonding agent to get the new screed onto it. And you can even do this the next day. So really it takes all the panic and all the sweat out of a job. If you've got a big job, then to me that's the way to do it. Arrange it in bite-sized chunks. Now the ARDEX A29 trowels up beautifully. It's got a lot more fat than a standard sand and cement screed mix, and you can also mix it slightly wetter, because it's shrinkage compensated, which means it absorbs the moisture in the mix. Actually, it expands very slightly to compensate for the shrinkage. But don't mix it so wet that it puddles. And it holds the water in the mix, as I said, so it cures without the need for a polythene sheet. Normally I'd lay a polythene sheet over the whole thing and let it sweat for a few days. But the big payoff for me is that you can walk on it after 8 hours. And I mean properly walk on it. And after 2 days, you can get on with the tiling. So I like this because I prefer a clear run from wall to wall for the floor tiles. I don't like going around units. So I'd rather have an empty room, tile it through, and then put the units in. That's if you're doing a kitchen, of course. Now, I know you've got one question on your lips, and that's how much? And the answer is that those bags are around 4 times the price of ordinary Portland cement. Ouch, you say. But actually, you only need around half the quantity. So really, that's just double the price of cement. And for most customers, they're happy to pay that just to get the room back in service. But for me, the payoff is really that you get a super tough screed that's absolutely ideal for underfloor heating. And because it's much easier to trowel up, you can make a good job of it. So I'm certainly going to be using A29 on my next screeding job, and hopefully the one after that, no question about it. I'm Roger Bisbee. I hope you found that interesting, useful. Don't forget to come back to Skill Builder, subscribe to us. We love subscribers. We'd like to see you back as a regular viewer.